Hey Gearfax friends, today we're having a look at the Worlde MIDI controller keyboard. Just USB for this one, and it has the small keys, similar to what we've seen on a microKORG or other keyboards of the smaller size like that. Sliders here instead of pitch bend and modulation wheels. Not necessarily a bad thing. Heaps of controllers up the top, including buttons for triggering and knobs for controlling all the parameters. This controller keyboard is modeled very strongly on the Arturia architecture, so I started up Arturia's analog factory, and sure enough it's immediately working. That includes the controls on the side there. You can see that's all moving as I manipulate the keyboard right here. Let's have a quick listen to how that sounds. And we can take our octave up and down quite easily. Actually, we're not getting much response from the modulation slider there. Let's try some of these push buttons. Okay, they seem to be steeped well and truly at the bass end. Over here we can change our pad number, so let's do that. Okay, they're yet to be programmed, it would seem. The touch sensitivity is very good. And this particular pad does show us that the modulation sensor strip is working. Let's try working with the knobs now. Looks like these need to be tuned in as well, because I noticed that as I turn them, I'm getting very little response from the virtual knobs on my screen there. I'd say that would just be a case of needing to get into the parameters of the software and changing the maximum and minimum amounts for what that controller handles. The default setting seems to be just a few degrees either side of center. So that's how it goes straight out of the box with Arturia's analog factory. Let's try it with some other software. Okay, I'm on Reactor 6 now, and I'm getting absolutely no response from the keyboard at all. Here we are in ever reliable FL Studio, and again, nothing from the Worlde keyboard. Without doing a massive amount of debugging, I've gone through and tried to change MIDI settings and do detections and things like that to get the Worlde keyboard going, but it just doesn't want to speak to any software apart from my analog lab by Arturia. And I got to tell you guys, this is why I don't really go in for USB-based music or anything else to do with computers. I prefer to stick to hardware synthesizers and samplers, because the fact is you're always running into mystifying problems like this, and it just gets in the way of being creative, and it brings irritation into your studio. So I don't recommend it personally. I know that's very conservative and narrow-minded, and I know many of you will disagree, and many of you will point out the amazing capabilities of computers and the advantages that they have over hardware synthesizers. But I want my studio to be a place of fun, and that's why I'm not really into these kinds of things, and I don't really recommend them. Just a personal opinion. I know that might not be a very popular point of view, guys, so please leave a comment. I'm always open to discuss things. But even though I've said all that, I'm not going to say that the Worlde keyboard is a bad product. I really don't think so. It's the inherent difficulties of software. The product itself is strongly built, unbelievably cheap for what you get. The keys have a pretty nothing sort of response to them, possibly even a bit toyish, but they won't let you down. They'll enable you to program in a melody, no problems at all. The pads feel absolutely fine, just as good as any of the other major brands. And the dials are perfectly strong. On the side here, you'll see we've got nothing but a damper pedal function and the USB socket. Note the timber edges though, they're quite nice. So thanks guys for watching my review of the Worlde MIDI keyboard controller. Here come my links to some other videos that are relevant and might be of interest to you. And if you could like the video, or even better still, subscribe to Gearfax, that would be awesome as well.